actually feel sorry for Boruto because his life just keeps getting worse and worse. The payoff we are going to receive when he saves the world by defying fate and then meeting Naruto and Sasuke again, it's going to be magnificent and generational, because currently Kashin Koji confirmed that every single future ends with Boruto and Kawaki dying. The age of Shinobi comes to an end. But somehow, that isn't the end. Amado has made his move manipulating Kawaki to fit his own needs, and Code finally stops taking L's. He completely outplays Boruto's master plan and kidnaps Sarada. That means everything has fallen apart in 2 Blue Vortex chapter 36. And it begins with showing us exactly how Amado convinced Kawaki to kidnap Kashin Koji. Kawaki's first concern is if this operation gets in the way of eliminating the Otsutsuki and Shinju, then he wants nothing to do with it. But Amado reassures him that everything he's doing is still connected to reviving his daughter, which means he also wants the divine trees wiped out as quickly as possible. According to him, this situation with Koji is something personal that needs to be handled. And because Kawaki is so easy to manipulate, he doesn't have a big brain, he's simple-minded, he says, bet, let's go. He will do anything he's ordered to do as long as it doesn't stop him from protecting Naruto and killing the Shinju. Bro does not care about the details, he doesn't even ask. So Amado then asks for intel on Boruto's location, whether or not he's inside Konoha, where Kawaki confirms that he is, but Boruto has suppressed his chakra signal. The only thing Kawaki can still sense is his Otsutsuki presence, so that gives Amado the perfect opening to kidnap Koji, as we saw in chapter 35, as that meant Boruto isn't currently with Koji, and 10 Directions still hasn't received another future update, leaving a gap. So if they're going to make a move against him, it had to happen right now, before Koji can see the betrayal coming. This is why Amado's plan worked to perfection. Meanwhile, Kobu is now explaining the Mamushi incident to the village elders, where he was surrounded by Shinju clones, thinking his life was completely cooked. Now the problem is, he has absolutely no idea how he ended up on the roof of the Hokage office. The last thing he remembers is sitting inside the interrogation room with Shikamaru because Inojin secretly used his mind transfer jutsu on him under Kashin Koji's orders, moving him into danger so Kobu could die and not trigger the disastrous future Koji had foreseen. But that's when Boruto appeared and defied fate, as he is a singularity. This so-called traitor pulled up and wiped them out in an instant, saving Kobu before they could burn him alive. And now you would think getting rescued by the person you've spent the entire investigation calling a national threat and hate watching him for years upon years, that you might actually reconsider things because he saved your life. Maybe the guy deserves at least 5 minutes of doubt. But omnipotence is so powerful that even if you logically realize your memories are false, the rewritten memories don't disappear. The only thing you can do is consciously reject them through reason and willpower, just like Mitsuki, Shikamaru, and others that have pulled it off. But asking that from an old head, that's basically an impossible task. These guys have always been the crux of problems in the Shinobi world, like stupid politicians that have a bias for their own needs. I mean, Danzo's stupid ass old head teammates till this day are alive in Boruto, and they play a hand in pissing off Shikamaru and cause strife, when in reality they need to be 6 feet under. Let's just say the truth. Now as a result, Kobu concludes that the rescue must have been part of a conspiracy. He argues that Boruto wouldn't randomly stop by just to save him, because the timing was just far too convenient. So from his perspective, the entire attack was staged to prevent him from exposing Shikamaru and stripping him of the Hokage title. Now Sai is listening to this and he's completely bamboozled that Kobu still has his tinfoil hat on, but then he explains the logic. He believes Shikamaru is secretly working with Boruto and the other members of Konoha are helping them from the shadows. And to be fair, he isn't wrong, but the intentions behind this team up is what he doesn't understand. And then Koharu argues that it's becoming increasingly likely that Boruto is communicating with the Shinju, whilst Homura takes it even further and suggests that Boruto may have deliberately lured them into Konoha so that the village would be destroyed. So even though Boruto just saved them all, Omnipotence is working overtime to make his fate worse and worse. I mean, Momoshiki was not kidding when he said Boruto will lose everything. However, Sai tries to bring everyone back to reality, asking whether they're genuinely accusing the Hokage of rebelling against the village. And Kobu doesn't give two shits and says, yes, I do. In his mind, Shikamaru is the traitor who allowed Boruto to escape, and there must be concrete evidence somewhere to prove it. And that's when he reveals that he has already sent a report directly to the Fire Daimyo. All he needs now is approval for the forced dismissal of Shikamaru. Now this is important because it all links to Konoha being destroyed. Without the smartest man alive creating the strategies against the Shinju, they will be at a lost cause. Because you have to remember Koji's prophecy about Kobu. He said he must die, otherwise the worst future will always be triggered, as he's the catalyst for Konoha tearing itself apart and ultimately leading to Jura's victory. Koji already foresaw that Kobu's actions would lead to the Fire Daimyo withdrawing his support for Konoha's current leadership. And this is where I think the story is heading, but let me know what you think in the comment section below, because if the Daimyo loses faith in the Shinobi system, it opens the door for scientific ninja technology to replace ninjas, because suddenly Amado will become the most valuable person in the village, because he's the one capable of mass producing weapons as powerful as Kage level Shinobi with ease. In fact, all the cyborgs he made are low Utsuki level. That means no other village would be a threat to Konoha realistically. Cyborgs can be treated like tools without problems and be rebuilt if they're destroyed. And Amado can even install emergency shutdown codes to control them if they ever go rogue. So to the Fire Daimyo, if you compare that to the Konoha's strongest ninja who have caused civil wars and gone against their orders, you can objectively see why they would rely on scientific tools. So that makes even more sense of Kawaki's words to Boruto in the flash forward, stating that the age of Shinobi is over because the people in power decide that ninja themselves are obsolete. Now ironically, everything Boruto has done has helped push the worst future to occur, as he clashes with Koji's ideology in all parts of the story. Koji sees people as variables in an equation. If sacrificing one life prevents millions more from dying, then that's simply the correct decision. It's pragmatic and based entirely on the probability to gain a better fate. But Boruto rejects that since he promised to follow Naruto's ideal. Like ever since part 1, his entire character has been built around saving everyone. He refuses to accept that anyone is disposable, no matter how impossible the situation looks. Like every single time he's ignored Koji's calculations to save someone, he's managed to prevent one tragedy, but unknowingly push the world one step closer to an even greater one. He saved Kobu, but look what that led to. He saved Konohamaru, and he refuses to abandon Sarada. They're all morally right decisions, but they're also the kind of decisions that Koji fears the most because fate doesn't care about your good intentions. That's why chapter 36 confirms that the end of the world will occur with the death of Boruto and Kawaki occurring every time. However, Boruto told Sarada that no matter what happens, never lose hope. Now this line is inspired from the Matrix. As Ikemoto confirmed, Boruto represents the chosen one in Neo and Sarada is Trinity. However, the architect in that movie claimed hope is the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. So foolishly, Boruto informed Sarada to get captured on purpose by Code and is putting her life in danger. This clearly means Ikemoto is taking inspiration from the Matrix again, because just like Boruto, Neo spends his entire journey trying to save everyone, believing he can overcome fate itself. But in the end, he's forced to watch Trinity die in front of him after she sacrifices herself, finally making him confront just how much she truly meant to him. Boruto is walking down the exact same path. Up until now, Sarada awakens her manga cure standing against the entire village, even sacrificing her eyesight, recognizing that she loves Boruto romantically. But our MC has never had to experience the fear of losing her, and we can clearly see from Koji's vision in chapter 36 that this will definitely occur, as in one of the futures, Sarada is dead and Boroshiki appears. That means for the first time, Boruto will have to pay the price for trying to save someone, and I genuinely think that's the emotional payoff Ikemoto is building towards in the story, forcing Boruto to confront the fact that Sarada isn't just his teammate, she's the person he loves. I mean, look at the original Matrix. That was like one of the greatest power-ups of Neo, where he literally became unstoppable and accepted he's the one when Trinity kissed him. But I will dive into this important detail in a second, because first, Shikamaru receives an urgent report from the sensory unit that someone matching Jiraiya's chakra has entered Konoha. But Shikamaru instantly understands that Kashin Koji has entered the village, their most important informant in the war against Jura. He immediately orders the information to remain classified and asks where he is. And that's where we see that bro got packed up. He's chained inside Amado's laboratory with sealing restraints wrapped around his arms, cutting him off from controlling his frogs and his escape route of using reverse summoning jutsu. Now Amado, he proceeds to compliment Koji for surviving Ishiki and has the cheek to ask him not to hold a grudge. Like, this dude really sent him to his death, shot him down and imprisoned, bro, and he's saying, we're cool, alright? We're cool. But surprisingly, Koji's response tells you exactly what kind of ninja he's become. He says, yeah, it is cool, because he accepted the mission and understood the risk. And that's what separates Koji from the man whose DNA he was cloned from. Jiraiya believed a ninja is not a tool, and we have to understand each other's pain. The world can come to a better place if we do so. Even in part 1, Naruto instantly felt a connection to Koji due to Ninshu, and felt uneasy and was upset knowing that Amado sent him to his death. However, since Koji is the antithesis to this ideal, he believes there's no reason to resent Amado, as they are two sides of the same coin. But Amado gets to the point. He's interested in 10 directions and breaks the ability down perfectly, which honestly should be terrifying and should ring alarm bells. Because remember how Momoshiki said in chapter 75 that he has knowledge of all Shinjutsu, and somehow Amado guessed correctly that Shibai, the Utsuki god, no longer exists in their dimension. But Momoshiki had not heard of Ada's ability, so it's possible that Amado is lying. Amado even knew that ninjutsu are attempts at reproducing the effects of Shinjutsu, meaning he has been weaponizing his knowledge for his own need this entire time. Like heck, he could be the final villain and an Utsuki himself, as the things he pulls off with science, it just looks like bullshit. He has the answer to everything that makes no sense to regular humans. Like in chapter 36, Amado even tweaks Kashin Koji's power for his own benefit. He performs an ultrasonic procedure directly on Koji's brain, artificially stimulating his brainwaves, hoping to make 10 directions update more frequently, and it's connected to his computer where he can see everything that Koji is seeing as well now. Like, bro really installed a cooldown reduction buff on a freaking Shinjutsu ninjutsu. He's got Koji running a 90% CDR build like he's playing ARAM Mayhem on League of Legends or some shit. But Amado's manipulation runs even deeper. He tells Koji that he is his creator, so he simply wanted to help his son. Now, whether you believe that or not, that's a different story, but Amado reveals his intentions by informing Koji of his daughter Akabe. Kawaki's karma still contains Akabe's genetic information and memories, and if Kawaki engraved his karma onto this cloned body, it should work exactly like an Otsutsuki resurrection, basically curing death. However, Amado asks the question that he's dying to know. Out of the thousands of timelines, has Koji ever seen a future where Kawaki successfully revives Akabe? But Koji, he flat out says no, not even once, man. And then he casually drops the bombshell that no, Kawaki just dies in every timeline just like Boruto. And with this revelation, Amado realizes what he must do to ensure his daughter comes back. He will manipulate Kawaki, even if it causes the worst case scenario just for his survival, including sacrificing Sasuke, Boruto, and more. Meanwhile, back in Konoha, Shikamaru is busy trying to get into Amado's lab, but he's locked out as the password has changed. Boruto then arrives at Koji's hideout, only to realize that his ally is gone. Amado then allows him to escape, but this is just a disaster. Remember, Kashin Koji is arguably the MVP in this entire war. He's the one who revealed the existence of the Thorn Soul Bulbs, explained how the Shinju function, and has been guiding every major decision from behind the scenes. Like, this man turned Boruto into a monster in just a few years by abusing the 10 directions, looking into the future and showing Boruto the fastest possible path to becoming 100 times stronger. Like, he even did the same thing recently with Inojin, helping him unlock a new technique. So let's be honest, without Koji, Boruto saving Naruto and Sasuke seems impossible. As a result, Koji contacts Shikamaru and Ada. He needs the Senragan to look at exactly what Amado did to him an hour earlier. But that's when everything goes to hell. Bro freezes mid-system update as the 10 direction activates. But at the same time, Sarada remembers the plan Boruto entrusted to her before they split up. Code is going to target her, and Boruto deliberately wanted her to be captured so he could use the flying Raijin markers hidden on her body to instantly infiltrate the Shinju hideout. It was a risky strategy, but if it worked, they'd finally have a direct path to rescue Sasuke and wipe out the divine trees. And as Sarada starts making her way towards a secluded area so innocent civilians don't get caught in the crossfire, back at Koji's location, 10 direction activates again, where complete chaos is shown. We get flashes of Sarada getting jumped by Code, Boruto activating the Karma Seal, and a fight against Hidairi going down. He even reaches out to take out her Sharingan. And this is where we see that Code finally gets his first big W in the present. Using his new mechanical hand, he rips the flying Raijin marker Boruto secretly gave to Sarada straight off her body before kidnapping her. And just like that, Boruto's entire plan is finished before it even begins. And that's where it's revealed that Boroshiki will come out, which means that things will spiral so far out of control that Boruto will be forced into using the karma again. And remember, Boruto made a deal with Momoshiki to have his body. Initially, he swore he wouldn't rely on the karma unless there was absolutely no other choice, because every activation gives Momoshiki a chance to emerge and take over. But then he made a deal for more power. Momoshiki said he can use the karma for free, but eventually must be given what is owed. He will take over Boruto's consciousness and body. So you can see where this is going. If Sarada's life is hanging by a thread, Boruto won't care. He'll let Momoshiki take over and do the Rasengan, throwing all kinds of hands and obliterating everyone. Now you may be wondering, why didn't Sarada activate the Manga Cure and do something about it? Well, she did try. The second she realized the operation had flopped, she tried to use the Manga Cure, but Code shut it down by pinning her against a claw mark to negate it. Koji was then about to to inform Boruto of what he saw and what he can do to fix it, but he doesn't listen and teleports to Sarada's location only to find out that it's too late. This is where Boruto's greatest strength becomes his greatest weakness. He can no longer bear the burden alone and will have to rely on others to save his Pookie. Now, to enjoy even more peak fiction, watch this video on your screen right now.